Hi. Today, I'll briefly tell you about a movie called Love Hurts. Enjoy watching. The main character, Marvin, is a realtor and an optimist in life. He has his own approach to clients, ensuring their good mood and successful sales. On another sunny day, while tending to the environment, he notices that hooligans in the city have started testing new styles of mustaches and sideburns on him. Marvin blames his competitor, Zags, for this and calls Ashley, his colleague from the Frontier Company. The girl jokes that she can't do anything to Zags. After all, he has a black belt. Marvin supports her as she is showing signs of depression just before their office's Valentine's Day corporate event. When Marvin arrives at the office, ready to brighten the mood of his bored employees, he finds a letter among the scheduled meeting notes that makes him shudder. It reads, "I'm back." Marvin feels unwell and asks to be left alone, but as soon as he enters his office, he gets punched in the face. He wakes up with his hands tied, facing an old acquaintance, Raven. The man has come to deliver a message from his brother, Knuckle, who is displeased that a certain girl named Rose has started sending Valentine's cards to everyone. But Marvin, despite witnessing what seemed to be her last breath, has no idea where she is. At that moment, he begins to display incredible skills that had been hidden beneath the facade of an ordinary realtor, because we still don't know what he did in the past. Their fight is truly intense, but Marvin asks Ashley to wait outside, saying he's doing yoga. She leaves, and Marvin accidentally finishes off Raven. However, upon exiting the office, his boss congratulates him on a promotion. He has become Regional Realtor of the Year. Marvin sincerely thanks his mentor and asks to take his car, but two unknown men are already watching him. Meanwhile, his boss, Rennie, tries to calm Knuckle, who is furious that Raven is not responding. A living Rose poses a major threat. She knows whose money they stole, meaning she could tell the wrong people. This time, Knuckle needs her alive. At home, Marvin attempts to bandage his wounded hand, but two gangsters, King and Otis, break in. They want to know where to find Rose and have some fun torturing the retired hitman. But life isn't easy for hopeless gangsters. Marvin showcases his true fighting skills and, in the final moment, stops Otis from stabbing him. He delivers a message. Knuckle should calm down and stop trying to kill him. Marvin escapes, but just as he reaches his car, Rose knocks him out. Seconds later, she takes care of King as well, putting on a show for bystanders. Meanwhile, Ashley, the last to leave the office, hears Marvin's ringtone from inside. She enters, surprised to find his unconscious body, and decides to read his notebook filled with poems about his blades. A call from the gangsters reveals that Rennie wants to personally kill Rose, because she knows he stole money from his boss and will surely spill the truth. At the same time, he orders his men to find someone named Kippy. Marvin wakes up with freshly bandaged hands and a mustache drawn on his face. Meanwhile, Ashley finds a striking poem in his notebook and reads it to him in a voice message, ending with her resignation. But Raven suddenly wakes up, and Marvin confesses that no one ever understood his poetry before. Marvin reveals that his brother once wanted to kill Rose, but he intervened because he loves her. He also knew she had the courage to return and get revenge. And now she has. Rose tells Marvin she wants to return to her old life, but to do that, she needs to settle things with Knuckle. She asks for his help. However, when a man in a bar recognizes Marvin, hoping for a selfie with the best realtor, Marvin instinctively knocks him out. Rose finds an amethyst in his pocket, the very one she once gave him. They head to a house Marvin is planning to sell. While Rose has someone hidden in the trunk, Marvin enjoys his regained trophy. But Rose wants to see the real Marvin. She nearly causes an accident but ultimately gets what she wants. Meanwhile, Rennie arrives at Rose's apartment, ready to kill her. Back at the office, Raven and Ashley share a sweet moment. Raven even admits that he might be falling in love. At the house, Marvin tries once more to convince Rose to disappear and live a peaceful life. But she's only interested in exposing the truth and asks him to follow her. At the same time, Rennie finds a note in Rose's apartment. "Kippy is with me." Turns out, she had been keeping Knuckles' accountant in her trunk, cutting off his finger for a fingerprint, and pulling his dental crowns just for fun. The story is simple. Rennie stole $4 million from the Russians. Using Kippy, he laundered $2 million for himself, while his boss received the remaining $2 million and was satisfied. However, Rennie believed Rose should have simply died instead of demanding her share. When Marvin found out, he jumped into action to save her. Marvin's boss, Cliff, arrives at his house to pick up his car but finds Knuckle waiting for him instead. In a friendly chat, Knuckle tries to get information about his brother's whereabouts. When Cliff refuses, Knuckle kills him and takes his hat. Rose came back to save Marvin, just as he once saved her. But for that, he must confront his past and face Knuckle. The next morning, Kippy thanks Marvin for the painkillers and demands a cut of the money for his silence. Instead, Marvin decides to get rid of him. Just then, the Kippers arrive. Marvin asks Rose to let them in. After all, this is the life he's always dreamed of. The couple is here to buy a house, so Marvin quickly calls Ashley, asking her to bring the paperwork. But instead of documents, she has to send Raven. Meanwhile, Knuckle orders Raven to be harsher but keep them alive. Kippy escapes and tells Rennie their location. But before Rennie can act, Rose calls. She's coming to settle things with him personally. Rennie orders King and Otis to kill Marvin and Raven. He no longer trusts Raven. As Marvin's colleague and his enemy arrive at his home, Otis records a heartfelt voice message for his wife, sensing it may be his last mission. Inside, a fight is about to start, but suddenly, King and Otis barge in, noticed earlier by none other than Jack Zags, the realtor from the commercial. They almost shoot the house buyers, prompting Marvin to offer Raven a truce. But then, Jack Zags unexpectedly tries to take down King and gets shot in the forehead instead. Raven handles the two gangsters and turns to fight Marvin until Ashley stops him, pleading for his life. He is the one she has been looking for all this time. Marvin recalls the words he once told Ashley and rushes to Rose, who has arrived at the meeting point, only to find a half-dead Rennie. Knuckle had already beaten the information out of him in just 2 punches. Knuckle believes that everyone who stole from him must die, no exceptions. But Marvin disagrees. He arrives just in time to save Rose again. Amid the chaos, Rennie slips away. Rose joins Marvin in the final showdown against Knuckle. When Rennie nearly shoots Rose, she reminds him she's not as dumb as he thought. In the final battle, Marvin takes on his brother. He seems to win, but Rose saves him in the last moment and shares one last surprise. She cut off Kippy's finger to strike a deal with the Russians. She exposed Knuckles' years of theft. This will be her final Valentine. Just then, the Russians storm in, thanking Rose for the information before taking their prize. Rose thanks Marvin for his help and wishes him luck in his new life. But this time, Marvin makes a different choice. He finally embraces his love. Raven and Ashley also give in to the romance of this great holiday. And even Otis manages to reconcile with his wife on this wonderful day.